Hi folks, and welcome back to another video. My name is Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. Today I'm bringing you some more Women's Prize for Fiction content. I know I haven't been posting a lot. Mentioned in a video a few weeks ago that life's just been a little bit chaotic in a good way. It continues to be chaotic in a good way, so I've barely had time to sit down and edit videos. I do still plan on posting my reviews and my chats about all of the books on the long list. I've currently read 12, so that means there's only 4 left. So I will be getting those videos to you as soon as I can get around to it. Hopefully a lot of the tech issues I have been having will be sorted next week. I am having to get a whole new computer. It's a lot of stress, but we're getting there. But in the meantime, I couldn't let today pass without there being a video. And today it is the reaction to the Women's Prize shortlist announcement. So there are 2 prizes at the minute. There's the non-fiction prize in its inaugural year and the fiction prize. I'm not following the non-fiction prize as much. I am just sticking to the fiction prize for now, but I do plan on reading some of those non-fiction books at some point. So this morning, 8 o'clock, they announced the shortlist. I will put my predictions on the screen, and these are the ones that I not necessarily wanted to be on the shortlist, but thought would be on the shortlist, having read only 12 of them, and basing my thoughts on what I had heard other people say. So the ones that I thought or hoped would be on the long list were In Defence of the Act by Effie Black, The Wren by Anne Enright, Ordinary Human Feelings by Megan Nolan, And Then She Fell by Alicia Elliott, Brotherless Night by Vivi Ganeshanathan, and Soldier Soldier by Claire Kilroy. Not necessarily my favourites. I will talk more about my thoughts on most of them in coming videos. I have just noticed I think most of those I haven't actually reviewed on my channel yet either, so I will leave the video to me reviewing the first 6 books that I read down below so you can go and watch my full thoughts. Those are the books I thought were going to be on the shortlist. I have seen the shortlist already, so this isn't a live reveal, but I have to say I was watching the video and it started off so well. I was really engaged, I was really excited that a lot of these books were on. There's only one book that I'm disappointed in or just genuinely do not believe should be on that list, and I will tell you what book I think should be on instead of it as we get through them. So you've probably all seen by now, but the shortlist is The Wren by Anne Enright, Brotherless Night by Vivi Ganeshanathan, Restless Dolly Maunders by Kate Grenville. We'll talk about this one in a minute. Enter Ghost by Isabella Hammett, Soldier Soldier by Claire Kilroy, and River East, River West by Aubrey Lescure. So I'm really happy with that shortlist actually. I think the ones I just mentioned, 3 of the ones that I wanted and predicted to be on there are on there. 2 that I'm really happy about being on there are Enter Ghost, which is the only one on this list that I have yet to read, because I was very confident it would be on the shortlist. I've kind of been saving it. I have a copy of it right here that I am going to get to. And River East, River West, I'm really happy about, because I really enjoyed that one as well. I just didn't think it would make it. I don't know, there was just something about it that made me think it wasn't going to be on there. The one I'm very disappointed to see on there, and that sounds awful, doesn't it? But it's the one book that I just really didn't like, and that is Restless Dolly Maunders. I was very disappointed by this book. I found it very boring, and I'm really surprised to see it on there because I just felt it didn't do anything new. And really, is it fiction? I have a lot of thoughts about it. I just genuinely didn't like it. If you go and watch my review, I talk more about my thoughts, but that is based on Craig Grenville's grandmother's real life, and I think it could have been better as a biography. I probably would have enjoyed it more if it was written as non-fiction and a recount of her grandmother's life and alongside similar stories of women's journeys. But I just felt like I'd read it 100 times and I got nothing out of it, nothing that I didn't already know. I was very disappointed by it, and I know a lot of people also didn't enjoy this book. I have seen a couple of people happy that it's on there though, so there's something for everyone. So that was the only strong thought I had. I kind of knew that either Soldier Sailor or And Then She Fell would be on, but not both of them, because they're both about similar topics. I think Soldier Sailor has more universal appeal and probably is technically and objectively a better book. They're both about postpartum mental illness in a way. So Soldier Sailor to me is a very obvious recount of a woman who is suffering with postnatal depression. And Then She Fell is a questioning narrative about whether someone has postpartum psychosis or what she is seeing is real, interwoven with a native Canadian story. And I thought maybe that would give it the edge, because I have never read a story like that before, and in my opinion, a little bit more unique and more original, which is one of the criteria for this prize. So I hoped that would be on there. But I also really enjoyed Soldier Sailor and knew that both wouldn't be on there, so I would have been happy with either. I do feel like any other year And Then She Fell would be on here though, and like I said, that one's great. The Wren is one of my favourites that I've read. I think it's like my second favourite at the minute, and I just really enjoy it. It's such a sharp book. If you know anything about me, I love the poetry interwoven in it. I love the storytelling. So that one I'm really happy to see on there. And I was actually really scared about this book at first because I'd never read any Anne Wright, and I'd heard mixed things. I heard you either love her or just don't get along with her, and I heard this wasn't a great one from her, that she's done a lot better. But like I said, I loved it. It had everything that I love in fiction. It had that creativity, that artistic side. I just really enjoyed it, so that is definitely up there as one of my favourites. Very happy to see it on here. Brotherless Night, again, one that I really enjoyed. So happy it made the list. I just think it's a really compelling, really fascinating story about the Sri Lankan Civil War. I didn't know much about it at all going into it, but what I've learned from it, I just find fascinating, and I'd love to reread this book just to see what else I can get from it, because I think there's a lot in it that went over my head or didn't quite sink in the first time because of how much is packed into this book. But like I said, I loved it. It was really enjoyable. Really glad it's on there. River East, River West, like I said, really enjoyed that book as well. I thought it was a wonderful, almost like reverse colonial story. It is about a white American woman who moves to China and spends a long chunk of her life there, has a half Chinese daughter who she is raising in China, and begins to have a relationship with a new man who is Chinese. And it is about her experience as a white American in China. It is about her partner's life, and I thought his life was fascinating and so difficult but also so beautifully told. But amongst all of that, it is about the relationship of Alva, her daughter, and her partner, and how they get along and how both their life experiences impact their decision making. I thought it was amazing. Like I said, I didn't think it would make it. I thought maybe there were a couple of things that just knocked it down a peg, but really glad to see it there. I hope more people read this because I want to hear more people's thoughts on it. And then I don't really have anything to say about Enter Ghost. It is about a theatre group who were putting on a production of Hamlet in Palestine. Very topical with what's going on in Palestine at the minute. I really hope that this isn't just on there because of that reason. I hope this is an amazing book. It's one I've been really excited to read. Like I said, I have my copy right here, so I will be getting to it really soon. But I've heard amazing things about this as well, and I really want to read this and talk to my friend Shannon about it, who hasn't read it, but who loves Shakespeare and retellings and modern books that incorporate Shakespeare. So I'm hoping that this is something we'll both be able to talk about at some point. But like I said, I'm really excited that's on there. So I guess all I need to talk about is the one book that I wish was on this list and isn't. The only change I would make to this long list, and that is to take, obviously, Restless Dolly Maunda off and put In Defence of the Act on. How In Defence of the Act isn't on this list, I don't understand. I've heard a few people more recently talk about the pitfalls of this novel, how maybe some of the writing, especially towards the end, is a bit clunky. But I found this book fascinating. It is about a woman who spent her life studying suicide and what the purpose of suicide is, and is it a natural evolutionary instinct that some people have? Does it have some purpose in, you know, our evolutionary process? But how moments in her life have shaped and changed her perception on suicide. I thought it was a fantastic book, despite the dark topic. So humorous, so interesting, so intriguing. I won't harbour on about some of the things in it that other people have mentioned, but there's a beautiful scene at a book club. There's a beautiful breakup scene and meeting your ex after years apart, and some great discourse about presence or absence of children in a relationship and how that makes somebody feel. And I just loved it. And I thought it was fascinating. And I read this at a point in my life where suicide has had a massive impact on my life, both personal and work. And I find it difficult, but also really interesting. And reading this book during some of those turbulent times was difficult and probably not the best idea, but really helped me shape my opinions of it. So that's the only change I would make. I think the rest of this long list, brilliant. Would I have liked to seen Ordinary Human Failings on there? Of course. But that's probably the only other one. I'm really excited to see what people think of the shortlist and who they think is gonna win. I have some thoughts already, but I want to try and reread all of the books if I can, just to really solidify my thoughts on them. I would love to know what books you think should or shouldn't have been on this shortlist. What changes would you make to it? Because I know we all have a lot of varying opinions. If you've made it to this part of the video and you don't have anything particular to say, just leave me your favourite emoji to let me know that you're here. I'll also leave links down below to my Instagram and my story graph and all that fun stuff, so you can come on and follow me on there and talk to me about books. And I will try and get some more videos up really soon for you. That's everything for today. Take care. Bye.